they've been talking about it throughout the pregame show. It's just been one of those trends, and the Rockies are frustrated. They look to break it today.
Yeah, and they do, because when you look at the trends, it's been offensive when you're looking at how the lineup has been able to produce or not produce. And I think part of it comes down to the fact that it hasn't been the full lineup that we're accustomed to seeing. There's a lot of guys in different spots. There's a lot of guys in different starting spots that before the season started weren't expected to be there. So offensively, you come to the friendly confines, facing a lefty. The Rockies have hit lefties well. It's time for the offense to go.
Absolutely, and go early, hopefully. The roster move that the Rockies, well, we'll tell you about a roster move in a moment. Here's Charlie Blackmon. This is images of a year ago, and historically, at least the last few years, the Rockies have played well at Wrigley Field.
And Corey mentioned it on the pregame show. You can check out the numbers of the last two seasons, 5-2. They have outscored Nolan, even though the numbers historically haven't been great here. He has hit well as well. It's going to be good to see Carlos Gonzalez back.
Well, Carlos Gonzalez is back, though not in the starting lineup. He came off the disabled list. That's the good news. The bad news is DJ LeMahieu was placed on the disabled list. It's retroactive back a couple of days to Saturday. Whenever you're dealing with a hamstring, we sound like a broken record. Back of the leg injury, it's going to take some time. Better safe than trying to push it, and then it becomes a situation where you're out even longer. Cargo available off the bench tonight.
He is available off the bench, but Drew, it still presents quite a problem for the Rockies. It's an all-lefty bench, so if there are matchups throughout the night, it's going to be difficult for the Rockies because there are a couple left-handers in the Chicago Cubs bullpen. So we get it. It's a lefty starter, but it's still the Rockies offensively just don't have their full unit, and you're going to need it against this Cubs.
Nobody feels sorry for you. You got to go, right?
You got to go.
Well, the Cubs are coming off a 4-game sweep of Milwaukee. In fact, they've shut them out 5 times this year. Amazingly, they gave up only 2 runs in the entire series. They didn't light it on fire on offense. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but they are pitching splendidly of late.
And the guy throwing tonight, John Lester, is the leader of this group. And when you pay attention to John Lester, he's getting older. There's no question. The amount of innings on his arm are obvious. He hasn't missed a start in his entire career, what it feels like. Numbers are up, home runs are up for John Lester, strikeouts are down, the walks are up. The Rockies, if you're up for it, he's ripe to get some runs scored against him.
And typically when he struggles the last couple of years, it is early in the baseball game. So hopefully the Rockies can get after him around first pitch. We are a couple of moments away from that. It's the Rockies and the Cubs from Wrigley. Come on back to Chicago with us. welcome you to Wrigley Field. John Lester in a rush. He's already thrown a pitch and missed to Ian Desmond, and his second pitch is on the ground. 2 hops to Chris Bryant, 1 out. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup. Desmond, for the first time this year, atop the lineup. Again, without DJ LeMahieu, Buddy Black's shuffled things around. Charlie Blackmon hitting the leadoff spot, obviously very familiar with that yesterday. He's in the 2-hole. Then Nolan will bat third. Story, Iannetta 4 and 5. Parra, Noel Cuevas, Pat Valaika, and Kyle Freeland against the outstanding veteran John Lester, who owns 3 World Championship rings. 2 with Boston and 1 with the Chicago Cubs. Stories he can tell. 2 teams that waited forever, it seemed like, and that's interesting. Are those warnings immediately? I would think so.
Yep.
And this is the Chris Bryant thing. That was with intent. And I guess it brushed Blackmon. There's no question that had intent. And it's interesting because the question was asked, not that it would answer it any differently, of Joe Madden, and he said no. He said, I think that pitch clearly got away from. That brushed him. They're going to take a look at this. Clearly got away from German Marquez back in Denver, and he said there's nothing to it. And yet that pitch looked like there was intent. And
at the end of the day, Drew, whenever you hear the unwritten rules of baseball, it comes down to the guys on the field. It has nothing to do with broadcasters that have played this game in the past. The teams will let you know when it's over. And the Cubs felt an obligation to, even though there was no intent from German to hit Chris, that they still owed us one. They owed the Rockies one. Now it's paid off, and it should be over. We'll take a look at that pitch. The errant one up and in, 2 strikes. This is such a scary moment for not only the Rockies players, but obviously for members of the Cubs. That's their best player.
And I talked to Chris Bryant this afternoon, and first of all, he's doing well, obviously. And secondly, he said it was just so bright, he lost the baseball. And it just ate him up. So Blackmon at first, 1 out, and here's Nolan. And let's see right away if the Rockies extend their leads. I think everybody in baseball knows that John Lester will not throw over. It's been a couple of years since he picked. It's amazing. The guy can, hit a gnat in its backside from 60 feet 6 inches, but he has the thing, and he will not throw. But teams rarely take advantage of it. And part of it is, Spilly, I think you can appreciate this, part of it is it's just so unnatural to take a lead where you know you'd get picked off.
I think what some of the guys have started to do is they take their natural lead and treat him like he's a normal lefty. But you get out to a spot that you're not used to, and as soon as he lifts your leg, you naturally retreat.
3-0 on Nolan. But you wonder, and I talked to Ian Desmond about this a little bit, do you take the lead that's extended by 6 feet? We've seen some guys do that, and then you have to be careful on your secondary. But to me, then just go. Even though Contreras has a howitzer and Lester's typically 1-2 or even less than that to the plate, if you get out 16, 17 feet, it's still going to be hard to throw you out.
Guys just don't feel comfortable. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
3-1 on Nolan. Funny, Rizzo's not even really holding because he knows he won't throw over. Lester has not been afraid to go in with that cutter against Arenado historically. Nolan 2 for 8, does own a home run against John Lester.
And Lester's given up 4 home runs so far to right-handers on the season.
Gave up 3 in his last outing against Cleveland. There goes Blackmon, and it's fouled off.
And this is the great opportunity for Charlie to be in that quote-unquote running situation, knowing that Lesser's not going to pick, knowing that Nolan Arenado is typically a guy that when he swings, he puts the ball in play. John Lesser's strikeouts per 9 is down. It's a great running opportunity. Basically treat it like a 3-2 count with 2 outs.
Going again, and that's inside. Contreras throws. It doesn't matter. It's ball 4. Get an idea how strong Contreras' arm is. He threw that from his knees. Looked like Benito Santiago. 2 on, 1 out. Here comes Trevor Story. John Lester with a 3.29 ERA this year. This is his 6th start of the year. It's his 102nd in a Cubs uniform. He's won 45 games with Chicago, and there's his arsenal.
Very similar to Kyle Freeland in the other dugout. I'm interested if Kyle's going to pay attention to John, because the stuff is similar. The biggest change is the curveball. John Lester has a great curveball, throws it about 15% of the time. That's the separation that Kyle Freeland's been looking for with a secondary pitch, is something that changes eye levels and that it has enough miles per hour between fastball and his cutter.
Inside on Story. So Blackman's at second. That's like a foreign land the last 24 hours for the Rockies. They never touched second base yesterday. They were 2 for 17 in the series, hitting with runners in scoring position. That was Friday and Saturday. Nobody with the Rockies advanced to second base yesterday. That's how tough a day it was.
Contreras goes out and talks to John Lesser, trying to settle him down. I'm sure with the pitch inside to Charlie Blackman, get some adrenaline going after a pitch like that, especially not knowing if Charlie's going to react to it differently.
Outside 2-0. I think you make a wonderful point. It may have affected him certainly more than Charlie. Charlie just had to brush him. He went down to first, and now the Rockies have 2 on, and Lester's been very inconsistent since. This is popped up to center field. Almora Jr. makes a catch, 2 outs. Here are the Cubs defensively as Chris Ionetta's coming up. Almora had a marvelous series against the Rockies defensively. He made 4 ridiculously good catches. Ben Zobrist wasn't available when the Cubs were in town last week. He's in right field tonight. Bryant, Russell, Baez, and Rizzo in the infield, with the guy we were just talking about, Wilson Contreras, behind the plate. So Ionetta with 2 outs. 2 for 11 and a home run against John Lester. That's the difference with John Lester with so many lefties. You see, he throws all 4 pitches that he utilizes for strikes, and he'll flip up that curveball, and the league's hitting just 0.91 against his curveball. Tonight, the 20th start of the year in game number 30 for Chris Ionetta. And a ground ball to second. Easy play, and Lester works out of it. The Rockies had 2 aboard with 1 out. Story hit a fly ball, Ionetta a ground ball. Freeland when we come back. the north side yet this year, and it's not even close. Most of the time they've been battling snow flurries and wind and very cold temperatures. It's well above 70 as Kyle Freeland has completed his warm-up pitches. And Kyle trying to duplicate what he did in his last outing against the Padres. 7 shutout innings and earning his first victory of the year.
I think for Kyle, what he did so well and so effectively, and we heard Chris Iannetta talk about earlier, was that he went to his strength. His strength is his fastball, the cut fastball, and throwing the occasional changeup, coming after the hitters. More importantly for me, it's making sure he still doesn't have that secondary pitch like a curveball, or taking off enough of the changeup to really get that separation needed.
Ground ball foul off the bat of Almora. Remember last week we remarked frequently about the aggressiveness of the Cubs hitters. Now Mora fires at the first pitch. That's just who they are. It's in their DNA. Young team that's a free swinging team. Now Mora was 0 for 4 yesterday. It snapped an 11-game hitting streak for him. And that's up and in. And then he came back with a changeup. I like that sequence. Kind of buzzed the tower and then went soft away. 1 and 2.
There's nothing wrong with pitching on the inside portion of the plate if you can command it. It's okay to move players' feet.
Two and 2 on Almora. He's become a fixture for Joe Maddon at the top of their lineup. Hitting .292 overall, but .317 in the leadoff spot. Hard on the ground, deep short. Story across his body, and it'll be an infield hit, as that was an in-between hop Desmond couldn't come up with.
Story does a great job ranging to his right to get it. In between hop for Ian Desmond, right on the dirt, not off the grass on the Subaru Supermo. One of the harder picks for a first baseman is when it gets on that dirt.
So that'll bring up Javi Baez. He too had an 11-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. He hit .400 during that stretch. And this is bounced to third, and that is foul. So 1-strike count on Baez as we take a look at Joe Maddon's lineup tonight for Chicago. Chris Bryant naturally will be behind Baez, then Rizzo in the cleanup spot. Contreras next, Ben Zobrist, Addison Russell, Ian Happ, the switch hitting versatile young player out of the University of Cincinnati. Baez lines this ball to deep left. Parra will get there. And again, we can remark at how great his reads and routes are in the outfield.
It's one of the harder outfields to play in baseball, just because there's so many different variables here. It's no foul line, there's a basket in the outfield, the way the left field and right field jets out, and then you have to play with the wind. And even the sound here, it's difficult to hear the bat off the ball just based on the sounds that you hear from the fans and everything. It's a difficult outfield to play.
They've changed that base hit to an error. It's the third error on Trevor Story. It's not a routine play. It's could be characterized as a tough error. And pitch to Bryant, misses, ball 1. Former MVP in the National League a couple of years ago. Big kid, 6'5". Raised in Las Vegas, went to college at the University of San Diego. That's on the inside corner, says Jeff Nelson, our crew chief. Jeff is joined tonight at first base by Laz Diaz. Andy Fletcher's at second. Manny Gonzalez at third. Rockies put 3 on the left side for Bryant. And this is a pop-up on the infield. Pat Valaika. He made the catch. And Spilly, you played a lot of baseball games here. We're looking at this as a gorgeous evening. We don't see a lot of wind. I'm looking at the flags, you know, a gentle breeze, but there must be something going on up there.
There's always something going on above the stadium in Chicago. That's why outfielders, you have to just make sure you come and try to help out your infielders. The Subaru Supermo, Valaika backpedaling, and that's where the ball starts getting away from him a little bit. You also have this voice inside your head saying, oh gosh, you're going to drop it.
Yeah, that's a sick feeling. When the ball's about 10, 12 feet over your head and you're still moving quickly. Here's Rizzo. Rizzo takes ball 1 on a pitch that looked like it was center cut.
It's right down the middle in the Subaru strike zone.
Right down Rush Street, as you like to say.
State Street, Sheffield Way,
Michigan Avenue.
Michigan Avenue.
1-0 on Rizzo. Now the Rockies shift the other way. 2 outs. Almora still at first. And that slider may have been off the plate, so they're even. 1-1. Late arriving crowd. It's an earlier start tonight. It's a 6 o'clock start, local. 6:08 to be precise. It'll be filled up in a short while as people get off work. What a contrast for the players from an energy standpoint, from just a culture standpoint. The culture of baseball. Empty seats everywhere down in Miami at Marlins Park, and then you come to Wrigleyville and it's always vibrant. Here's a 2-1, and that's well off the plate as well. 3-1.
Well, it's a major league game regardless of where you play. There's no question. It feels different playing a major league ball game at Wrigley Field. The history, the fans, the experience, the clubhouse. It's like playing a high school game Friday night under the lights. It's just a difference. Harry Carey.
(3-1) and 3-2. Well, for me, and I get this question fairly frequently, hey, what's your favorite ballpark to go to? And for me, it's simple. It's Wrigley Field and Fenway Park because of the history. Was it that way for you as a player?
I love playing here.
3-2, swung on and missed, and Freeland strikes out Rizzo to end the first inning. Almora reached on an error. That's all for the Cubs in the first, and we'll go to the second. No score at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Toyota stores. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. There's a look at Michigan Avenue. Nice place to go shopping or just stroll toward Lake Michigan. We go to the top of the second with Ryan Spilborghs and Jenny Cavnar and Taylor McGregor. I'm Drew Goodman. Gerardo Parra, Noel Cuevas, and Pat Valaika, 6 through 8 in the Rockies lineup against John Lester, the 34-year-old. Originally signed a free agent deal with the Cubs, a 6-year deal, departing Boston. Big man, 6'4", 240. The ball cuts off the plate, ball 1.
Never forget the first time I faced John Lester was in the 2007 World Series. Pitched game 4 for the Red Sox. There was no book on him.
On the ground to Rizzo. 1 out.
For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. You might want to not look at these stats I'm about to present to you. Surprise, surprise. If you're curious why the Rockies have been scoring less than 4 runs a game, we'll point to some numbers. 5 through 8 hitters this season, 191 average, 271 on base percentage, 580 OPS, all dead last. I'd like to see somebody in the bottom of the lineup make some noise today.
Need to. Here's Noel Cuevas. He takes ball 1. He's aware of the history of Wrigley Field. I was chatting with him in the clubhouse and again on the field about it today. He's excited to be here. He's also as thrilling as it was to have his family in Miami, and he enjoyed it, and he's exceptionally close with his family. It's almost as if, okay, now I'm in the big leagues. It's about, not that he wasn't in that mode before, but it's all about business now.
It's exhausting. You're around family for that many days, and they're excited to see you in a major league uniform.
Taking a lot of pictures.
A lot of pictures. Maybe having breakfast, lunch.
2 balls and a strike. That's high, 3-1. He was talking about the fact that he knew a lot of the history of Wrigley. You know, that Babe Ruth had called his shot here, allegedly.
There's a video of it.
Somebody captured it on their iPhone.
Yeah, they posted it on social media.
3-1. And that is line to left. There's a little offense coming from the bottom of the lineup. Kept his hands back, didn't he? He was out front a little bit.
Off-speed pitch from John Lester, 3-1 count. He knows the young rookie's chasing fastball. Takes a little bit off of it on the Subaru Supermo. It's nice, center cut. Take that. I think more importantly for the Rockies is trying to get that confidence from some of these younger players that are playing in a very difficult role. It's hard coming off the bench.
1 out, Cuevas at first. And here's Pat Valaika. And he works under this one towards Zobrist in right. Zobrist battling the sun. He'll make the catch. 2 outs. That'll bring up Freeland. Fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, comments, questions, whatever you like. Use Twitter or the hashtag, and the hashtag, not or, and the hashtag Twitter Talk.
I didn't get a chance to ask Kyle Freeland before the game, but how much do you watch John Lester? If you pay attention to Lester, it's what I pointed out earlier. Very similar with their stuff. Fastball has good sinking movement. Throws a cutter.
There's 2 guys just off the top of my head that have had a ton of success that have similar stuff to Kyle Freeland that, and we know how hard Kyle works. I would think he looks closely, to your point, at John Lester and also Cole Hamels.
Cole Hamels has an elite changeup, and he has a great curveball. And I think that's the pitch for me, watching Kyle Freeland now for 2 years. He needs to develop a curveball. Even if it's not great. I mean, we heard Max Scherzer talk about it. He has 4 pitches, 2 of them are terrible, but he throws them because it takes the hitters off of what his bread and butter is.
But you know how tough that is, especially at this level, Spilly. I've heard so many guys like yourself talk about it. Man, you don't want to get beat by your 3rd or 4th best delivery if you're a pitcher. And so in theory, it sounds good, but then in practice, when you're in front of 40,000 people, it's a little different.
As much as Contreras loves to throw behind runners, he has 1 error, and I was shocked. 8 stolen bases, he's only caught 3 of them.
I'm guessing some of that, or maybe all of that's on the pitcher.
It's on the pitcher.
2-2. This is like an early summer evening, honestly.
It's beautiful.
And that is strike 3 on Freeland. First strikeout for John Lester, middle of 2, no score in Wrigleyville.
Welcome back out here to Wrigley. Game tied 0-all in the bottom of the second. Now the guy on the bump for the Rockies tonight, Kyle Freeland, had his best start of this season last Tuesday against the Padres. 7 innings pitched with a season-high 8 strikeouts. Now we caught up with the guy who caught him in that game, Chris Iannetta, about why he thought he was so successful in that matchup.
I think in Pittsburgh, we kind of got away from what he did best. We tried to pitch to their lineup, which was a good game plan, but I think we got away from what he did best. I think some of their holes that they had was contradictory to what he's really good at doing. So instead of sticking with the pitcher's strength, I think we moved away from that. I think that really burnt us in the end. I think we both had conversations for a couple of days after that of how much we regretted doing that.
Now Freeland also agreeing with that, but he did point out that when he got hit in the heel, Buddy Black had said that it kind of kicked his mechanics into form. So although that was not good for Kyle that he got hit, kind of turned out good for the Rockies as they got the win, and a great start from him that night, you guys, huh?
Yeah, well, it's a results-oriented business. At the end of the evening, he had 7 innings of shutout baseball. So however it occurred, you'll take that every time out, and we'll see if he could apply some of what he did in his last start to the Cubs. Here's the 1-1 to Wilson Contreras. Good pitch. And here's what Taylor was referring to when he got hit in the heel on a comebacker.
It happens a lot when a player will have a small injury, not a big one. Maybe they feel sore in their hands, their arm, and they just try not to put as much effort. Remember a great story, Troy Tulowitzki, after he was hit with a pitch in Minnesota, broke his wrist, came back, and was unable to fire his A swing, his hard swing. Would take batting practice in shower shoes, and when he went to the plate, all he was trying to do is have the barrel hit the baseball. You know how many home runs he hit in September?
Was that the year he hit 15?
Yes.
Really? That's a great story. Less effort.
Less effort.
Remember Clint Hurl used to always say, and it's so true about baseball, unlike football clearly, or basketball or hockey, harder, faster, angrier does not work in baseball. It's hard. It's hard. It's counterintuitive, because when you're frustrated, when you're ticked off, you want to go harder, and that somehow just missed. 2-2.
What you need in baseball is the ability to focus, and if you can have hyper focus, that's what we always ask for. The better off you are.
That's why I always believe that the toughest outs to get clearly are the 9th inning, because it's not that you all don't focus in the 1st through the 8th inning, but when the game is on the line in the 9th inning, the focus is that much more acute. Here's the 3-2, strike 3. Contreras will give one look at Jeff Nelson, maybe another, but he's got to work with him, so he'll wander off. 1 out.
Excellent pitch by Kyle Freeland on the Subaru Supermo. Backdoor cutter. Caught Contreras. There's a couple pitches Jeff Nelson did not call in the at-bat that were borderline.
And that one was right on the black of the Subaru strike zone. 1 out. That'll bring up Zobrist. And the switch hitters in from the right side. Strike 1. Zobrist has a unique approach. His first round of batting practice, he takes half a swing, and he just is so focused on staying inside, and that skips past Nolan and goes out of play, which means Zobrist will be at second. I'm so used to Nolan coming up with everything in his neighborhood. That one slipped under his glove.
This ball probably has the exit velocity of about 80 miles an hour. It's almost like a changeup, and it looked to be on the foul side of the field, but because it goes over the bag, and this becomes the umpire's discretion.
No, it's right on the line, so it had to go over the bag.
Let's see Nolan asking, sure that didn't go foul? Tough play for Nolan.
And they're going to score it a double for Zobrist.
Yeah, they should. If Nolan doesn't pick it, it's a hit.
That's our general feeling, though I'm guessing if you talk to Nolan after the game, he's going to tell you he should have made that play. But that's Nolan. He thinks he should make every play, and that's why he is who he is. 0-1 on Addison Russell, way outside. Going to be a base hit. Parra coming up throwing, and nope, unable to pick it cleanly. Zobrist scores. 1-0 Chicago.
4-game hitting now for Russell. Addison being one of the few Cubs hitter that's been hitting well of late. A changeup on the Subaru Supermo down, but caught enough middle part of the plate. Addison Russell's able to poke it into left field. Parr doing his best to try to get this and make a good, strong throw, but the ball just comes out of his glove.
I asked Chili Davis, the hitting coach for the Cubs before the game, several questions. One, with a lineup filled with guys who can hit the ball a long way, who has the most pop? And he didn't really hesitate. I thought he was going to say Kyle Schwarber, who, as we both know, has ridiculous pop. He said probably Ian Happ. Hard ground ball to third. There's one, and there's the double play. But a run on 2 hits in the inning for the Cubs. So as we go to the third, they have a 1-0 lead. As always, go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote, and we'll show you the results during the postgame show. Wrigley, Fenway, Dodger Stadium all underwent recent renovations. Would you rather have seen the parks, A, kept in their original state, B, renovated, or C, completely replaced? That would be
Yeah, are you crazy?
Yeah,
Sacrilegious. You can't replace Wrigley Field.
No.
But you can renovate it, and it looks fantastic.
It does, and each winter, they have been doing renovations for several years. They're not done yet. A couple of years ago, they did the home clubhouse, and now they have maybe the nicest home clubhouse in baseball.
It doesn't take away from the experience of Wrigley Field.
They have the new scoreboard out in left center field. They have redone the bullpens, and now both teams have hitting cages. As that's lined and caught by the 6'5" Chris Bryant. He took at least a single, if not perhaps a double, away from Desmond. He's got to be 6'5" and athletic to come up with this baseball.
Well, Desmond hitting over 320 against lefties. It's part of the reason why Bud Black wanted Ian Desmond leading off today. The numbers on the overall season have not been great. Desmond just saying, come on, man. You can't buy a hit.
One out, Charlie Blackmon. And there weren't hitting cages underneath it. Both teams had to walk to the outfield. Well, they converted those to the bullpens, which are just a little funky because they're indoors, and you know, guys can look out if they want or watch on television. And this past off season, among the other renovations, they redid the visiting side dugout, which I'd almost bang my head in the visiting dugout. That's how short it was. So
it's great.
Now it's really nice. And they have a new hallway. You're not battling the mice and the other animals that perhaps called Wrigley home over the years.
Goats.
As you wander back to the clubhouse. So it's the clubhouse is still the old clubhouse. That supposedly is coming next year on the visiting side.
Thank goodness, because as a player, you love the history here. You just don't want to shower in the same place that Babe Ruth showered years and years ago with the same tile and everything.
Right.
Same carpet too.
The same overhead shower head, right? You know what's going to be the last part of the renovation?
No.
Because this is where we rank. The press box. And now that you have made the transition from Major League Baseball player to
this
broadcast,
friendly confines of the broadcast booth.
and we have to be both friendly and we are confined. 2 outs as Blackman rolls to second and Baez makes the play. We have a great view, but this press box goes back to, I don't know, does it go all the way back to 1914?
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
tight.
It's tight.
It's tight. It's hard to change your mind in here.
But it's pretty sweet to think of all the greats that have been here, that have watched great baseball games here. The great Harry Carey.
Sure. I always say this and Fenway, I said it earlier, my two favorite places to go because of the history. When you walk in Wrigley Field, folks, and we get here 3.5 hours before the ball game, you still smell the stale beer from the night before, and it works. It's just part of the charisma of
part of the experience.
Yeah, of Wrigley. 2 outs, nobody on. Nolan walked his first time. And he's in a ditch 0-2. Nolan had 1 hit. It came in his final at bat in the Miami series. Punched a single to right with 2 outs in the 9th yesterday. Had a great homestand, went 10 for 21 in his first ball games after serving the 5-game suspension for the fight against the Padres. Rockies right now 12th in the National League in runs, 3.89 a game. Cubs are second at 5.2.
When you look at the Rockies on this road trip, and they've legitimately scored 1 run. 1 run so far. Now we're looking at a Cubs staff that for essentially 5 straight games, the starting rotation has not given up a run yet. Something's got to give.
And a changeup strikes out. Nolan, a 1-2-3 third inning. The Cubs leading 1-0.
Let's get some runs.
Subaru. We're at Wrigley Field, first to 3 between the Rockies and Cubs. The Cubs took 2 of 3 in Denver a little more than a week ago. Cubs have a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. John Lester will lead it off. And then the top of the order, you always have to specify with the Joe Madden team because sometimes the pitcher bats 8th with Joe. The Renaissance man, Joe Madden, product of Lafayette College, just outside of, or just north of Philadelphia. Great school. 1 ball, 1 strike. Freeland set. Here's the 1-2 to Lester, and he got him with a slider.
Be at Coors Field to see the Rockies take on the Milwaukee Brewers May 10th through the 13th. Purchase your tickets online at Rockies.com.
Joe Madden played some minor league baseball after his time at Lafayette, and he spent 1 summer playing for the Boulder Collegians, which was a legendary team coached by Baldy Muschietti. And there's so many great players that went through and played for the Collegians. Do you know who one of Madden's teammates was? None other than George Frazier.
Uncle George.
Uncle George corrupted Joe Madden.
I doubt that.
But Joe said, he goes, it's hard to believe now. He was telling this story last week. It's hard to believe now. He goes, but he was pretty much a straight arrow back then.
Joe was, or George was?
Joe was. George was never a straight arrow. We know that.
I love that Joe. He talks about Boulder and says everything good that's happened in his life has happened in Boulder, Colorado.
He loves Boulder. Loves the state of Colorado. 1-2 on Almora Jr. Reached on a tough error on Trevor Story first time. Moves him off the plate.
You know what's funny is I know that I've noticed a couple times the reactions of the Cubs. Any pitches taken in, they almost take offense to it. Well, part of the reason why they've been hit more than any other team in baseball, 24 times.
Part of that is Anthony Rizzo. That just missed. 3-2, and it's not a knock on Rizzo, but we've described many times before. Anthony Rizzo, to say he crowds the plate is not an accurate description. He is on top of the plate, his arms hanging over. This is in the air, left center field, pretty well hit, but in front of the 368 mark. Charlie makes the catch, and Almora Jr. is retired. That'll bring up Javi Baez. I want to point something else out. One of the misnomers about Wrigley Field is that all year long it's a bandbox, it's Great Hitters Park. In April and usually a good portion of May, it is a pitcher's park because not only the cold temperatures, but the prevailing wind that time of year, or this time of year because it's late April, is blowing in. If you come here in the summer where it heats up and the wind typically is blowing out, yeah, it plays small, but not this time of year and not the last few weeks of the season in September.
We played games here in April. Rockies have opened back in, I think it was 2008. At least had their home opener for the Cubs. And I think it was Ted Lilly was pitching. That lineup probably hit 15 home runs off Ted Lilly that game, and he had a one-hitter shutout.
Right. Now, I will say this, Spilly, you and I watched both the sections of batting practice. It is playing more like early summer tonight because it is so mild out. Baez almost swung. He did. Baez went around. That's a good call by Laz Diaz at first. 0-2.
Back foot slider. Baez, as aggressive as he is, he just spins out of it. And if you're curious how many times the Rockies staff has hit batters, it's only 10.
That's a great inning for Kyle Freeland as he strikes out Baez. He got Lester as well. So we move on to the fourth. The Rockies trail 1-0 on the north side. Well, nothing. The Cubs leading. The Rockies will have Trevor Story to lead it off here in inning number 4. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Story popped to center his first time. He takes up high ball 1. Story had a 7-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. He was 0 for 4. Rockies road average 203. It's just hard to fathom, man.
It's been tough. It's been really tough.
This is the final day of April, and it will go down as the worst April offensively in club history. Yet, the Rockies will finish no worse than 500 in the month of April, and a chance to go 16 and 14. You have to include some of March also. Season starting early. And the lowest road average in the National League. The Rockies, and then the team that just took 2 out of 3, the Marlins at 207.
The only reason why the Rockies have the record that they have is because the starting pitching and the bullpen have been so good. Scoring less than 4 runs a game, but the Rockies pitching staff has been letting up less than 4 runs a game.
This ball is pretty well hit to center field. Almora going back, and he did it again. It's ridiculous. That's 5 tremendous catches he has made against the Rockies this year. He knows that brick wall's coming up on him.
It's just the route is perfect. It's a straight line to the baseball. There's not a lost step. If there's one lost step, it's a double. What a play by Albert Almora Jr. on the Subaru Supermo.
Well, I know if you have a vote in the Rockies dugout, the coaching staff, for Gold Glove in center field, it's going to be hard, even though it's April 30th, to vote for anybody else. This is bouncer to short. Russell throws out Ionetta, 2-gone.
Here are the catches Almora made in Coors Field about a week ago. This is on a DJ LeMahieu. They were struggling to score runs.
Makes it even harder when you have Albert Amora Jr. in center field patrolling. 3 unbelievable plays, all with runners on base. It's the final one against Charlie Blackmon in the 9th inning.
Two outs and Gerardo Parra up. The Rockies have had 3 base runners, a hit batter, a walk. Both came in the first, and a Noel Cuevas base hit with 1 out in the second.
Almora plays deep for a center fielder, but it also, because he runs in so well, he gives himself an opportunity to play deep.
That's going to go foul.
There's some outfielders that like to play shallow because they don't run in well, and they can go back extremely well. I prefer to play deep because I like to run in. You give yourself such a better shot to take away extra base hits if you're playing center field deep enough that you can still cover the broken bat or maybe a ball off the end of the bat in front of you. If you remember, Andrew Jones played extremely shallow.
Yes. Jim Edmonds played shallow. And he dove a lot.
Yeah. Did dive a lot. That's always, and it comes down, especially in this game, is knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. And as an outfielder, everybody has a strength and weakness. It's obvious that Almora knows what his are. He takes a couple steps back with 2 strikes.
I didn't think he was catching that one.
I didn't think so either. Off the bat, it was a double.
When you played here, most walls are padded. With the ivy, it's brick behind it. The ivy hasn't come in yet because it's still late April. Were you more cognizant of, I don't want to run into the wall?
Yeah, nobody wants to run into any wall.
You don't want to run into any wall, but is there a little comfort knowing that it's padded versus that's a brick wall?
Yeah. But not much. I mean, everybody has in their mind, you don't want to go running into the wall and have the ball hit off of it, give extra bases.
So a buddy of mine from New York just texted me, and he said, what's up with the ivy? As in, there's no ivy. Should I let him have it? I mean, how should I react to that?
How does his grass look in his front yard in April in New York?
Okay. That's the response I use. I like it because I know Snarky, and you know Snarky.
Oh, yeah, I love Snarky.
You have a PhD in Snarky.
Yes.
That's why I inquired of you. 2-2. Good job staying off the curveball in the dirt. Gerardo yesterday appeared off the bench, had a pinch single. Started on Saturday, was 0 for 4. And Lester strikes out Parra. He has now retired 8 in a row. Middle of 4, Cubs leading 1-0.
starting to show its age.
Yeah, it really has. This is called the friendly confines for a reason. There is no foul territory here at Wrigley Field, so as an outfielder, quite a challenge. Check out this baseball. If it comes down the line, typically you'll watch an outfielder run and be aggressive to try to grab it. Here you can't. You almost have to play it off the wall and look out for Steve Bartman.
One of the big changes that has been made here at Wrigley Field as well, not to mention the no foul territory, is that the pitching bullpens have been removed from the field of play. In the past, you had to worry about that as well, not to mention the bleacher creatures in right field, the bleacher creatures in left field.
That's the one part I don't like, that you can't see the bullpens. Darren Holmes loves everything about Wrigley Field. He came into the dugout today and said to me, "This is my favorite place." He said, "But the one thing I do miss was warming up and the crowd getting on you and that whole atmosphere, and that's, you know, non-existent now." Good pitch there. 0-2 on Bryant. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Wilson Contreras. As they say, the meat of the Cubs lineup.
Hopefully it's just tofu tonight. If you're curious about Steve Bartman, where he is, nobody really knows. But back in 2016, after the Chicago Cubs won their first World Series, well, first World Series in a long time, he received a World Series ring.
Good for the Cubs.
Yeah, it was great. Those are the seats that he, I forgot what seat number it is, but I sat there.
1-2. That was most unjust and unfair. He was in the stands and he's looking up at a baseball about to drop on him. Where should he be looking?
I don't know, but he made a heck of a Halloween costume for a couple years for me.
Did you go with Steve Bartman?
Of course.
You and 6 million other people? Moises Alous coming in. And watch where Bartman is. He is in the crowd. He's not even. And that's what fans do. Especially he's up about 8-9 feet. Story on the move, throws out Bryant, who runs well. 1 out, that'll bring up Rizzo. And what you may have forgotten after that is Alex Gonzalez missed a 2-hopper at short.
That was one of the more sure-handed shortstops during that era.
Rizzo struck out his first time. Chatting up Chris Iannetta. The 9 runs that the Cubs scored over the last 4 days against the Brewers in sweeping them was the fewest runs in a 4-game sweep in Chicago history. The last time a team scored 9 runs and swept a 4-game series was 1975. It was the New York Mets.
Is Tom Seaver on that team?
In 75 he was. Line drive right at Valaika. Short hop. He'll throw it at Desmond. Nice job by Pat. That's almost where being on the outfield grass worked against him, because had he been in a conventional spot, it just would have been a line drive at him.
Well, this is so frustrating for any left-handed hitter. That's a hit. Not in 2018, where infield shifts are the norm.
Wilson Contreras caught looking on a slider on the outside corner. Fastball's there at the belt.
So far, I love everything about the sequences for Kyle Freeland, mixing and matching, throwing fastballs in, cutters in, backdoor cutters. The changeup has been effective.
That's a good-looking pitch, just off the plate, evidently, so it's 2-1. It was. But the shape of it, Spilly, and where it was intended to go.
It's great.
Yeah.
Right out of the hand, it looks like a ball, and for the last couple feet, makes a right-hand turn and almost becomes a strike. Three-one count for Contreras. He saw 2 pitches in. This probably a count that he's looking to cheat in.
He draws a walk. That's the first issued tonight by Freeland. That'll bring up Zobrist.
It's a whole new ball game with RBI Baseball 2018. RBI Baseball 18 delivers all new franchise mode and much more. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone.
Zobrist hit that ball right down the third base line like this, but this one isn't getting by Nolan. Good job by Desmond coming off the bag. That may have been a tougher play that Nolan just made to take a double away from Ben Zobrist. So we move to the 5th inning. It's still 1-0 Chicago. A flash of platinum. As we go to the top of the 5th inning, Noel Cuevas will lead it off for the Rockies. On the Road is brought to you by Lazy Days RV. Here's the rest of the road trip. 9 games over 10 days for the Rockies. 2 more here in Chicago. A day off Thursday in the Big Apple, and then the Rockies will be in Queens taking on the Mets on the weekend. Cuevas has the Rockies only hit a sharp single to left in the 2nd. He takes ball 1. Well, it hit a couple of home runs. Hit 333 down in Albuquerque, and he lays down a bunt. I love it. Bryant comes up barehanded, not going to throw him out. Boy, is that a good play by Cuevas.
Well, it's good on so many levels. Number 1, it's a leadoff base runner. Number 2, John Lester does not like to throw the baseball to first base. Number 3, Chris Bryant was played very deep, well off the grass, and Cuevas just took full advantage of it. Fantastic play by the young rookie. get an opportunity to check out the athleticism of Cuevas too.
Yeah, I think when people go to the ballpark and they see Cuevas, and if you were at spring training, you saw Cuevas, you see a guy who's a big, strong guy, and you think, well, he's probably not a guy blessed with real good speed. He runs well.
Runs well.
Runs well. Rockies have another guy in the minor leagues that I know you and I like a lot, and more importantly than you and I like him a lot, the organization loves him. Big dude who can run, Sam Hilliard in Hartford.
Yeah, he really does run well for a big player. 6'4".
235, 240.
He surprised me in spring training when I saw him getting down the line. That's why I think we appreciate versatility in this game. We appreciate athleticism. That's why we enjoy watching Chris Bryant on the other side. 6'5", runs great. That was a late call for Jeff Nelson.
That was like a couple days late. 2-1 on Valleca. Real important at bat here with Freeland on deck. Two. You put him in motion here?
Yeah, I do, especially with the pitcher's spot on deck.
I'm with you.
You have to trust that Valleca is going to put the ball in play.
Cuevas extends the lead again. Lester, he's not going, and it's ball 4. So now it's perfect. First and second, and he's a guy with Lester. This is about the only guy you'd say this to in baseball. You can bunt it right back to him.
Yeah, do it. Doesn't have to be
You want
perfect.
him fielding it.
But
he's not going to throw to second.
Now here's the other aspect. Anthony Rizzo is as good of a first baseman of fielding the bunt since Todd Helton, and that's high praise. Todd Helton was the best. And so Anthony Rizzo, very close. If you pay attention, he's probably 60 feet away from Kyle Freeland. You have to bunt it towards third. He might even get closer. Wow, that's the closest I've ever seen.
There's the back pick. Out at second. Cuevas is hoping that he got a hand in, appealing to the Rockies dugout.
It's hard because as a base runner, you're trying to anticipate the bunt going down. He looks safe.
I think he got his hand back. Let's see this one. This will be the definitive angle.
Oh, wow. Great play by the Cubs.
Maybe not. Nope, he's out. That is a costly play right there. First and second. Nobody out, and Contreras just backpicked Noel Cuevas.
Well, I think this is a design play. It's why Anthony Rizzo was charging so hard. He called for a fastball outside. The entire defense is expecting it because Contreras wasted no time. Take another look at it. I think this is a design pick play because Contreras reset his feet like he was expecting to throw it down.
I don't know. I'm looking at Rizzo, and he made a late dive. Here's the bunt. And Contreras. It's dropped at first base. Javi Baez dropped a perfect throw. That'll be an error on Baez. First and second, one out. Now let's see if the Rockies can capitalize on that miscue.
On the Subaru Super Mode, Contreras has an absolute cannon, and he fires it straight to Javi, who takes his eye off of it to put his foot on the bag. And that's a 5th error for Javi Baez.
It's a sack, E4. Desmond, a ground ball to third and a line shot that Chris Bryant made a leaping catch on to take away perhaps a double. Folate at second, Freeland at first. 2-0.
Desmond has over 1,000 OPS against left-handers in 2018. Small sample size, but he has done all of his damage against lefties. Talked to him before the game. This is his 94th start as a leadoff hitter, 93rd, excuse me. Called himself Sparky. Get the lineup going.
Yesterday he hit second. Reached a couple times yesterday, a single and a walk. He had a good swing off there. 4 for 9 coming in against Lester in his career.
And that last pitch on the Subaru strike zone, can't miss that pitch.
I've heard you guys say numerous times that typically in an at-bat you get one good one.
Get one good one. Pitch number 4 was that good one.
Rockies looking for a key hit. It seems like it's been forever since they've been able to come up with that clutch hit to drive in a run. 2-2. This ball lined to center field right at Almora. 2 outs. That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. Well, nothing to show for it, and it's been a most difficult start clearly for Ian Desmond, but the last 2 at bats,
they're good.
They're good at bats.
Hit the ball hard.
Yep. Blackmon hit by a pitch that brought a warning from home plate umpire Jeff Nelson to both benches. Just got brushed by it, but it looked like it had intent. Also ground ball to second.
Lester against lefties on the season, holding him to a 170 batting average. However, Charlie Blackmon is beat up on lefties this season, hitting over 350.
Charlie's 3 for 8 lifetime against Lester. Again, Folate at second, Freeland at first. And that may have been the pitch for Charlie, who was out over the plate where he likes it. Time to go into battle mode if you're Chuck Nasty. Charlie wastes that one. 92 toward the top end of what you're going to see from John Lester. Key for Lester this year, the first hitter of an inning, 4 for 35 against him. He keeps that leadoff man off base. Cuevas reached on a bunt this inning.
Let's start against the Indians. He's been giving up more home runs this season. Gave up 3 earned runs on 4 hits. The 3 earned runs came via 3 solo shots. He just finds a way to. Solo shots are not going to hurt you. It's these situations, he's so good at bearing down.
In his other 4 starts prior to the start against Cleveland, he allowed only 1 home run. Made his 7th opening day start this year. 3 for the Cubs, 4 in a Red Sox uniform. He's won 161 games in his career. And Charlie hits this in the air to shallow center, and it's going to drop, and the Rockies will tie it up. Voleka scores. Charlie Blackmon, a soft single to center to get the job done after a lengthy AB. Hard to hit them where they ain't in this outfield. It's one of the smallest outfields in baseball.
I think Almora Jr. misread it off the bat one of the very few times on the Subaru Supermo. I mentioned earlier, Almora plays deep, and he saw Charlie take a healthy swing, but it just came off the label, and it falls right in front of him.
What did we talk about throughout the Miami series with the number of strikeouts, 30 strikeouts in 3 games? Get the ball in play, right? You get the ball in play, who knows what happens?
The Rockies are hitting 140 as a team with 2 strikes. That's the worst in baseball.
Here's Nolan. Inside.
And I think those numbers eventually are going to pop up. There's a lot of really bad offensive numbers for the Rockies. And there's small adjustments. I think part of the adjustments are getting full health, getting the whole lineup back and healthy again.
Well, the Rockies missed DJ LeMahieu in a big way. They've missed Carlos Gonzalez the last 10 days. That's line down the line. Fair ball. Rockies are going to take the lead. Freeland coming around. Blackmon is going to get a late stop sign from Stu Cole on the double by Nolan Arenado.
Well, check this out, Drew. It's not Steve Bartman, but it's the ball boy down the left field line. He touches the ball.
Well, that was a quick conference with the 4 umpires. Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, said, nope, we're going to keep the runners right where they are, 2nd and 3rd.
Cutter inside on the Subaru Supermo. Pay attention. He goes right after it.
Isn't that like one of the first things you tell the guy working, the guy or gal working down the 3rd or 1st base line? Don't touch the baseball. If you're not sure, don't touch the baseball.
Well, I mean, he ends up helping out the Cubs because I think that ball rattles into the corner. I don't think Ian Happ gets to it. The way that it redirected off of him, it goes almost straight to the defender. And if you're Bud Black, you're frustrated. You're saying, hey, hold on a second. Watch how the ball redirects off the security guard. It's kicking off, then it's going to kick off him again, slows the baseball down so Ian Happ can get to it. Stay out of the way. Get a bigger polo shirt, too.
Right now, he would like to crawl inside that bucket and hide.
His arms are too big.
2nd and 3rd for Story. Rockies up 2-1. All of this with 2 outs in the 5th.
As soon as that ball kicks, you notice how it's slowed down towards Ian Happ. I think Charlie would have a good chance of scoring, at least making a play at the plate where it's interesting. Now it just stops.
One and one on Trevor. Twice he's hit the ball in the air to center. The last time he hit it almost to the wall in center on a line, and Almora Jr. made a marvelous catch. Two balls and a strike. And a nice job by Story. And that's one of the things, Spilly, and you look at this stuff all the time. The last couple of weeks for Trevor, his chase rate has gone down dramatically. His chase percentage the last 14 games has gone from 31% to 19%.
It's fantastic. He's learning the strike zone. He's also understanding what pitchers are trying to do to him.
And he takes his walk, and now they're loaded up for Chris Iannetta.
Take a look, as you mentioned, Drew, swing and miss down from 2017. It was over 30%, down to 27. Outside the zone swings. He's not chasing pitches outside the zone. It was over 30% last year. And pitches inside the strike zone, he's firing at it with a higher contact rate. That's why you're starting to see these numbers. And I think for the Cubs, deciding to pass on Trevor Story, it makes sense. You look at the numbers, he's beating up on lefties. Iannetta behind him has not been swinging the bat very well. In fact, Drew, when I talk about some of the advanced metrics that are out there, there's only 3 players in the Rockies lineup over the course of this season so far that are above average with their offensive numbers. Everybody is well below league average.
I know, and you fall back on, and Buddy does this most every day, the fact that the Rockies are 15 and 14 right now. And if you just looked at the raw numbers and say, hey, what do you think this team's record is? You wouldn't pick an over 500 record. Here's Iannetta, bases loaded, 2 outs. And he takes low.
This is where Iannetta earns his money, earns his keep, especially with how good he is at not expanding the strike zone. It's going to make it difficult on John Lester. Very good team offense this inning. From the leadoff bunt from Cuevas.
1-1.
To the pitcher getting a sacrifice bunt down.
And it's nice to see. It'd be nice to see regardless of whatever happened. But remember, Cuevas got picked off, and the Rockies have still managed a way to score 2 and perhaps more. Here's the 1-1. 2-1. Chris offensively, and Billy talked about it, always has a pretty good on-base percentage because of his eye, and he's going to hit his share of home runs. On the corner, 2-2.
You see Chris looking back at Jeff Nelson, not reacting because Contreras had the reach. It was a mislocation. You don't like it when a pitcher gets rewarded for a mislocation.
Three and 2.
The Subaru Supermo backdoor cutter. John Lester, Wilson Contreras. You see how Wilson loves to just bring that glove over the plate.
Be subtle, cheat a couple inches with it. That's what he's paid to do. 3 and 2. Good swing. That was in the middle of the plate. Six on the Subaru strike zone. The pitch he fouled straight back. Blackman at third, Arenado at second, Story at first. Strike 3. But the Rockies come up with a pair of runs to take the lead in Chicago. Middle of 5, Blackman single, followed by Nolan's double. 2-1 Rockies. Rockies up 2-1. Addison Russell steps in, and he went after the slider. It'd been more of a curveball, actually, looking at the miles per hour, 79. Russell an RBI single for the Cubs in his first at bat. There's the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rockies up 2-1. Nolan with the glove, can't get it out. With Russell's speed, he knew he had to make a quick transition. I think he thought, that's an infield hit, for a moment about barehanding that. And then he went with leather and he just couldn't make the transition.
I agree with you. Off the bat, Nolan was preparing his hand to try to make the bare hand. On the Subaru Supermo, the rare times Nolan doesn't have a clean transfer to make a throw.
You just tell because he kind of worked where he was going to field it off the right side of his body naturally, where his bare hand is, and then he kind of rerouted in the middle and had no shot. Ian Happ at the plate, takes strike 1. Happ grounded into a 5-4-3 double play his first time. Two strikes on Happ. Cubs coming off that 2-0 victory over Milwaukee yesterday. It was Tyler Chatwood who started on the mound for the Cubs. He threw 7 shutout. And Chatty knocked in the first run of the game with a single. We all know how much he loves to hit. Had a sharp single to center. That's a real good rivalry. You always talk about the Cubs in St. Louis nationally, but the Cubs in Milwaukee just 90 miles apart. And so far, the Cubs have dominated this year. They've beaten them 7 times already, 7 out of 8, and 5 by shutout.
Reminds me a couple of years ago when the Houston Astros were trying to overtake Texas in the American League West. And the Rangers just beat up on Houston no matter what.
This is a broken bat floater, and this is going to drop, and Russell got a great read. He's going to go first to third. So you have a roller in the infield and then a bloop, and now you have an issue.
Subaru Supermo, this pitch gets right underneath Ian Happ. That was an excellent read by Addison Russell. You can hear the sound of the bat. You can tell, you look out. This is why you always, as a base runner, you look and see where the outfielders are playing. You notice that Charlie Blackmon plays deep, just like Albert Amora Jr. And you just have an idea of trajectory of the ball, the sound of the bat. Is a broken bat. Take your chance.
Here's Lester. 1-0. You want to throw, now this is up and in, but you want to throw up when you know the guy you're facing is trying to bunt the baseball. You hope he bunts it in the air.
That's right. Very difficult to get the bunt down with the fastball up. You want it down if you're bunting.
He wasn't bunting, at least on that pitch, and it's 2-0. This will be the first mound visit tonight. And Buddy Black's coming out. We hoped that it set up for a quick inning for the Rockies to take the offensive momentum and get right back to the bat rack, because you had 7, 8, and 9. Then you get the roller by Addison and the bloop by Happ. And now you're 2-0 on Lester.
The first 10,000 fans through the gates on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 13th, will receive a Colorado Rockies Mother's Day bracelet. Well, I don't think John Lester's swinging away 2-0, but you have to prepare for it.
He bunted it up in the air, and Iannetta will grab it. Thank you very much. That's what we were talking about. Above the belt, as you said, Spilly, it's hard to get that ball on the ground.
In order to get the butt down with the pitch up, you have to get the barrel above the baseball. Typically, most players won't do that. There he is reaching for it, pops it up. See where it hit on the Subaru Supermo. Iannetta quickly giving chase, locates it, takes the mask off. Big play.
The barrel and the hands were at the same level, as opposed to, as you described, the barrel being above the hands. Now Almora Jr. at the top of the order. Reached on an error and hit a fly ball to center field. Time for our Lowe's whole team together. Cubs have been good offensively so far this year, averaging 5.2 runs a game. And you see who's leading them in hitting in the early going. Another 2-0 count. Three and 0. Sometimes you try to be too fine.
He's not missing by much. 381 average on the season for Almora against lefties. And he probably has a green light.
94 on that fastball, had a little pepper on it. 3-1.
I would guess that he had green light. Some players just don't feel comfortable knowing 3-0 count they can swing.
Brian Butterfield, third base coach for the Cubs. And there's a base hit. That'll tie up the game. Eighth RBI for Almora. 2-2 in the fifth.
Almora has really become a thorn in the Rockies' side, both defensively, now offensively, with the base hit up the middle. Freeland wanted this fastball down. He left it up.
Javi Baez lined to left. Parra made a nice running catch. That was in the first, and then he struck out in the third. The ultra aggressive Javi Baez. And he fires at the first pitch and bounces it into the Cubs dugout. The Cubs, we talk about how frequently they swing at the first pitch. It's 34.4% of the time, which is the second highest or most frequent rate in baseball. Only Atlanta at 34.8% swings at the first pitch more frequently.
Well, and they should swing at the first pitch. The Cubs are hitting 345 first pitch swinging. By contrast, the Rockies are hitting about 260 on the first pitch.
They're hitting 261, 27th in baseball in the first pitch. The major league average when you swing at the first pitch is 319. Other numbers that figure to change for the better for Colorado as we move forward in the season.
This is where you'd like to have that off-speed pitch for Javi Baez or change his eye level. You get to the 1-1 swing count where you'd love to get that strike because it changes percentages pretty dramatically. But having an off-speed pitch that you can get, either steal a strike or get a swing through.
Toward third. Nice play by Nolan. There's one on the first double play. In the inning, the Cubs get a run. A couple of scratch hits, and then the sharp single by Almora ties it at 2 as we move to the 6th at Wrigley Field. The Rockies 2, the Cubs 2, with Ryan Spilborghs, Jenny Cavnar, and Taylor McGregor. I'm Drew Goodman. Gerardo Parra steps in to lead things off in the 6th. Probably the final inning of work for John Lester, who threw a season high, at least in an inning, 37 pitches in the 5th, as the Rockies got a couple of runs. It's the most pitches he's thrown in an inning since last August. Against the Reds, he had a 40-pitch second inning. Parra, Cuevas, Valleca, and that's to Javi Baez. 1 out. Well, Addison Russell is 2 for 2, batting out of the 7th position for the Cubs, and Noel Cuevas is 2 for 2, batting out of the 7th spot in the lineup tonight for the Rockies. Sharp single to left and then a bunt single. I'm watching Chris Bryant with 1 out. Less likely he'll bunt, but Bryant's moved in even with the bag at third. Outside ball 1.
Baseball's a team game with individual battles, and oftentimes you like to challenge your team, your teammates. You go, all right, be better than the right fielder today, or be better than the 7-hole hitter today.
Rockies have won 4 of their last 5 visits to Wrigley Field. In contrast to their issues in Miami, the Rockies typically play well here in Chicago on the north side. And that is a rocket to left. Have a night, Noel Cuevas. 3 for 3 this evening.
It's great to see.
It's really good to see for so many reasons. But Spilly, the Rockies don't have great depth on the right side of the plate, especially when it comes to outfielders.
I think it's important to just have that extra bat that can beat up on lefties. 3 hits on the night for Cuevas, and showing the Rockies and Bud Black what he can do. Give him an opportunity against lefties and see what he can do, and he's so far performing.
I love what he said before the game again. He goes, "It's go time." Stole one of your phrases. Pat Valaika walked in the 5th inning and would come around to score the Rockies' first run on the single by Blackman. It's just a second ball game for Pat at Wrigley Field.
Let's see if Cuevas challenges and tries to steal a base. 1-1 count.
It's amazing because everybody in baseball knows Lester will not throw over, and yet the running game is typically not an issue. This is dropped by Bryant, and he won't get anybody. So the Cubs playing sloppy defensive baseball all of a sudden, and it's 1st and 2nd with 1 out.
5th error on the season for Chris Bryant, and he just flat out misses it. Still has time to maybe get Valaika out in front, so he's going to be able to run down the line a little bit quicker than normal. Just barely beats it out on the Subaru Supermo.
What very easily could have been an inning-ending double play instead gives Freeland an opportunity to bunt 2 runners along. Flips the lineup. I guarantee you that Noel Cuevas will not get back-picked here by Wilson Contreras.
I was watching Cuevas as soon as the ball was thrown across. He sprinted back, and I really honestly believe that it was a design play.
Do you put a slug bunt on automatically with
where
Rizzo is? I'm just thinking he's 15 feet away.
Yeah, you got to keep him honest. Might do it again.
You talk about scary when Rizzo gets that close and then all of a sudden the guy pulls the bat back.
Well, Rizzo's 40 feet in. Yeah. Well, he's going to get closer. I've actually challenged pitchers when you see a first baseman. Now, it's more difficult for Kyle Freeland because he's left-handed. But to go ahead and bunt it, almost like a drag bunt that you're pulling towards first base, because the first baseman has no chance to go and cover the first baseline. You took it with you.
Slug bunt, and he swings and misses. That's the 2nd out. It'll bring up Desmond, who's hit it hard twice. 0 for 3. He's lined out to 3rd and lined out to center. And here comes Joe Madden. It's going to be the end of the line at 106 pitches for John Lester. We'll come back to Wrigley. Ian Desmond trying to give the Rockies the lead again. John Lester's evening is complete. He spectates now. Ian Desmond with 2 on and 2 outs to face Luke Farrell in a 2-2 ball game. Top of inning number 6. Farrell had a clean inning in Denver against the Rockies. He misses there. Ball 1. Bullpen has been a big strain for the Cubs. Their pen has a 2.65 ERA, 4th best in the league. 2-0. Both pitches not particularly close. And an easy play at third. So the Rockies had a hit. There was an error. 2 men left. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. 2-2. .139. Luke Gehrig's Ironman streak comes to an end at 2,130 consecutive games. He would hit .340 in his career, 493 home runs. Had to give the game up because of ALS. 2 years later, June 6, 1941, Luke Gehrig was gone. When he retired, he was just 35. Chris Bryant hits it a long way to left, and it is off the wall, coming back. And Bryant, seeing that, is headed to third. A leadoff triple. That almost had to be played like the monster, where the shortstop goes out into the outfield. Story's not expecting it, of course. In Boston, you do.
Bryant, first pitch swinging, gets a cutter in on the Supermo, and he pulls his hands. Off the bat, I thought it had a chance to be a home run. Parra giving chase as the left field wall jets out. This is the fear that you have as an outfielder playing at Wrigley, knowing how the ball ricochets off the brick. It would have been hard for Trevor Story, Drew, to even run out there. I was looking at the distance covered. I mean, it'd be great if he could have made it all the way out there. But that's 150 feet away from his natural position.
Go ahead run at third. Valleca's halfway with Rizzo at the plate. Story is back a little further, and Valleca bobbles. They'll get an out, and that will allow Bryant to score. He was not going initially. 3-2 Chicago, and RBI for Rizzo.
Rizzo not going in between hop. Looks like it hit something on the dirt. Took a bad hop on Voleka on the Subaru Supermo. He's lucky he just got an out. Good read from Chris Bryant. Truly, we talk about the difference between Nolan and Chris Bryant, but we're talking superstars here. If you don't appreciate watching Chris Bryant, if you look at some of his numbers, over a 440 on-base percentage.
He's got a career 916 OPS.
This guy's one of the best players in baseball to watch. It's not one guy better than the other. This guy is just fun to watch, a true superstar.
Wilson Contreras, a strikeout and a walk. Freeland, who has struggled falling behind in counts most of this year. He's coming off of an outstanding outing against San Diego. And with one out in the sixth, he's thrown just 80 pitches. He's going to have 2 outs on pitch number 81. And that'll bring up Zobrist, who's hit the ball hard twice in the direction of Nolan. First time it eluded Nolan right under his glove around the bag, went for a double, and the next time hit it even harder. Nolan was thrown out on the backhand side by Arenado. You know, the Rockies' starting pitching spell of late has been very good, but you can't finish second. We know the woes of the offense. Chad Bettis, really good yesterday, but Rockies did not score.
You're getting quality starts from your starters. I mean,
their road ERA is outstanding.
It's just you can't get them to match up when the offense is good. The starters have been off. When the starters have been good, the offense has been.
Yeah, we call it baseball symmetry. Look at the last 5. Going back to Freeland's start against the Padres, 7 shutout innings. John, 6 shutout innings. Tyler Anderson had to leave after 4 outs, but the combination of he and Senzatella were terrific. Marquez, 2 runs over 6 innings. Yesterday, Chad Bettis, 2 runs over 7 innings. You look at that, and just look at the graphic, you think, oh, the Rockies won all 5 of those games, right? Baseball symmetry. 2-2. Trying to steal that strike outside. 3-2 on Zobrist. Become a big star out of Dallas Baptist University. Who's had a strong baseball program. DBU. And that's to right. Cuevas will come in. He'll glove it. And that's all for the Cubs in the 6th. They get a leadoff triple by Bryant, an RBI ground out from Rizzo. They're up 3-2 going to the 7th.
of the 6th. So as we sit at the top of the 7th, it is 3-2 Chicago. Now, all this season, AT&T Sportsnet will be celebrating the Rockies' 25th anniversary by counting down the all-time top 25 players. So tomorrow, it's number 22 on our list, Dexter Fowler, and you can join us on the conversation by sending in your favorite Dexter Fowler memories. Send us your photos, whatever you got, using the hashtag ToyotaTalk25. Now, I gotta say, I don't know if I have a particular favorite memory of Dexter, but I gotta say his smile is something that stands out the most. I mean, he has gotta have one of the best smiles ever in Major League Baseball, Drew.
Yeah, he does. He lights up a room with his smile, and Dexter, one of the all-time Rockies, and a real good guy to boot. 1-2 on Charlie leading off here in the 7th. It'll be Chuck, then Nolan, and Trevor Story. Charlie hit by a pitch, ground ball to second, and a single to center to drive in the Rockies' first run. Luke Farrell still on the mound, got the final out last inning.
Luke Farrell, great family pedigree as far as baseball is concerned. Former manager of the Boston Red Sox, John Farrell's his father. Has an older brother, Jeremy, who's a minor league coordinator, and his other brother, Shane, who's a cross-checker, all within the Cubs organization.
John Farrell's now an advisor with the Reds. Strike 3 on Charlie.
Catch the best fireworks show in town this summer on Tuesday, July 3rd, and Wednesday, July 4th, following the game versus the San Francisco Giants.
Now, Luke's dad, John, and Buddy Black are very close friends. Nolan a walk, a strikeout, and a double down the left field line to drive in a run. Checked his swing, no swing, says Laz Diaz, 2-0. Since the start of 2015, check this out, Nolan has driven in 405 runs. That's the most in the National League, not by a little bit, by a ton. Goldschmidt, 79 back. And then in third spot, Anthony Rizzo, who's 9 behind Goldschmidt. They're the only 3 over 300. Nolan's over 400. Kidding me? 2-1, line shot again at Bryant. Nolan just spikes his bat in frustration.
Line drive off the bat, second time today that Bryant just standing, taking hits away. This is the frustration of the Rockies lineup. Nothing coming easy for them.
Story 0 for 2 and a walk. On the corner, 1-1. If you missed it earlier, the Rockies placed DJ LeMahieu on the disabled list with the hamstring injury, retroactive to Saturday. And Carlos Gonzalez was activated today, but with the Rockies facing John Lester, not in the lineup. So DJ for the first time in his career on the shelf. I think a prudent move by the Rockies.
As bad as the Rockies want to have DJ's bat in the lineup, it's not worth it to lose him for longer than 10 days. You have to keep an eye on hamstrings, obliques. Those are the two that can linger for a long time.
And for DJ, he hates not playing, period. And you can take that statement and increase it exponentially when it comes to playing the Cubs. Three and two. There's LeMahieu. And Story, a strikeout victim, a 1-2-3 seventh for Luke Farrell. 3-2 Chicago. And a bullet down the left field line for a double, and the Rockies had a brief 2-1 lead. Addison Russell would score on that base hit, and then an RBI ground out last inning. Plated Chris Bryant. Anthony Rizzo hit the baseball. Bryant had tripled to lead off the frame, so the Cubs lead 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And Addison Russell will lead off. Freeland's still out there. Russell has reached on 2 singles in the game, and he's going to reach again. Maybe, maybe not. Out at first. What a play by Story. What a play by Trevor Story.
This is as good as it gets. The shortstop position, how quick he was, first step.
Because Russell can run.
Bro, are you kidding me? That's 4 steps in probably 0.2 of a second. Gathers and makes a throw.
And it's not that close.
Wow.
That, as you said, as good as it gets.
Wow.
Ian Happ bounces it foul. We've talked a lot, and we're going to continue to talk about the number of strikeouts and the fact that this April, which concludes today at midnight, in case you're all wondering, more strikeouts for the first time in Major League history in a month than base hits. Never happened before. But it's not just everybody sitting back waiting for the home run and the ball's not in play. When the ball's not in play, you're robbed of opportunities to score. You're also, as a fan, robbed of the entertainment value provided by these wonderful athletes making plays like that.
Agreed.
And there's what we're talking about. April 2018, there's going to be more strikeouts than hits. By a bunch. Look at the previous 3 months where it was somewhat close.
I mean, we know with some of the numbers, fastball velocity is going up. Pitchers using off-speed more. You have hitters like Ian Happ, who comes into the game with over a 40% strikeout rate. In fact, I did this, about 2 weeks ago? Back in 2016, there was 3 players in baseball with over a 30% strikeout rate. You know what it is now in baseball? There's over 35 players with over a 30% strikeout rate. The game's changed.
James, the game has changed dramatically. And it's also, when you talk about the length of game, when you have to strike somebody out, or when guys are striking out at this kind of rate, well, they're up there for typically 5-6 pitches before they strike out, right?
Yeah, you don't strike out 3 pitches every time.
Kyle Schwarber pinch hitting. Four bats at the disposal of Joe Madden tonight. 3 lefties and the backup catcher, who's a switch hitter, Victor Caratini.
Schwarber not really getting a lot of opportunities against left-handers because Ian Happ is a switch hitter, and Happ has been hitting on lefties pretty well. Schwarber 1 for 14 on the season facing left-handers.
Freeland's next delivery is 100th. Got to figure this will be all for Kyle. Jake McGee, Darren Holmes. Good fastball, a lot of giddy up there.
Like that, just 93 miles an hour, no cutter, no slider, just challenge him. We've seen it with David Dahl too. Young left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching, they tend to not keep their front side in.
Well, the last couple of starts, lefties hitting just 111 against Freeland. And this is right at Story.
That'll be
good
easier.
inning for Kyle Freeland. So he goes 7 innings, gives up 3 runs. He was aided by this spectacular play by Trevor Story. Rockies down a run as they come to bat in the 8th. choice for fun. And there are plenty of Rockies fans who made their way here in late April to Chicago. That's how you know you've been around for 25 plus years. Everywhere we go now, you see a solid contingent of Rockies fans. Some places a large contingent. Arizona, you see a large contingent of Rockies fans. In Miami, there was a nice contingent.
That was Noel Cuevas' family.
He was well represented. Ball one on Iannetta. The new pitcher is the former Rocky farmhand Pedro Strop. Worked an inning and 2/3 in the series in Denver against Colorado. And that eats up Russell. That'll be a base hit for Chris. So the tying run aboard with Gerardo Parra coming up.
Russell's a young, acrobatic shortstop, much like Trevor Story, unable to come up with this ball hitting the hole. It ends up hitting him in the face. Oh, good, it did. Probably caught him right on the chest. The way he reacted looks like it might have hit him in the jaw.
Gerardo's 0 for 3. That was just the Rockies' 5th hit, and this is a bouncer that's going to turn into a double play. Three, 6.
First pitch swinging. Rizzo, talked about him earlier, reminds me so much of Helton. Very accurate with his throws. Great field awareness, knows to just step on the bag. Iannetta not a fast runner. You can throw it down there, get the run down.
Here's the hitting start tonight for the Rockies. He has 3 of their 5 hits. Noel Cuevas. 2 sharp singles to left, also a bunt single in the 5th inning. Actually, let me correct that. The Rockies have 6 hits. No. Yes, they have 6 hits. So he has 3 of the 6. He's got a 2-0 count to work with against Strop. Sitting fastball, didn't get the fastball. 2-1.
Strop has quite a bit of deception, even though he throws 96 miles an hour. Former shortstop in the Rockies organization.
Bryant has to make a long throw, and out at first base, the pick by Rizzo. Everybody kind of just holding still to see if, in fact, the throw was in time. Man, that is close.
I'm paying attention to see if Rizzo's foot is still on the bag. Looks like the ball's in his glove. His foot comes off the bag. So Rockies are going to challenge, it looks like. Might as well.
Yeah, at this point, you might as well.
Nice play by Chris Bryant. The ball beats him, but whether...
Now, what they have to determine in New York is if the foot, let's see, as soon as it contacts the glove, I think they're going to say he's out, that he's still on the bag. But in the 8th inning, you have nothing to lose. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Rockies trailing 3-2 in Chicago. Kyle Freeland goes 7 innings. He allows 3 runs on 6 hits. Struck out 5, walked just 1, 99 pitches. Ordinarily, you're thinking that's a winning start. Right now, the Rockies trail 3-2. Even though Freeland pitched an inning and a third longer than his counterpart, John Lester. Bottom of the 8th inning, Adam Ottavino will face the top of the Cubs lineup. Almora, Baez, and Bryant.
Well, numbers for Adam Ottavino have been staggering. His ability to locate fastballs opened up the strike zone for him. 28 strikeouts in 15 innings. It would be a major league record if there wasn't a guy in Milwaukee beat him to it.
Josh Hader.
And it happened this year. You're already talking about strikeouts and coming at a record number.
I said this the other day. If you were picking an all-star team after 6 weeks of play, 5 weeks of play, whatever it's been, Adam Ottavino, even though he's not a closer, he's going to be on the all-star team, right?
Yeah.
It's stupid. Stupid good. Ahead 1-2 on Almora. And then you have to deal with a moving 95-mile-an-hour sinker, really, that moves in the opposite direction of the sliders, the trio of sliders that he throws.
He's always had a good sinker. Great movement on the sinker, but was unable to locate it. So he spent the offseason trying to find a pitch he could throw for strikes.
See ya.
See ya
That's
later.
just dirty. Righties literally have no chance. 1 out.
It's not polite to laugh at a hitter having been there, but there's just no way to hit this pitch.
And there's no way to stay off it, right?
You can't.
It's a strike for 58 feet.
You can't hit it. It's an impossible pitch to hit.
Javi Baez, a line out, a strikeout, and a 5-4-3 double play ground ball.
That's a major league hitter who is off to one of his best starts, who's hitting .340 against righties, and he just swung like he was underwater.
And again, 0-2.
That was more like he was on the surface of the ocean, maybe waist deep in water.
Waist deep there. The Rockies next inning have Voleka, a pitcher spot, and Ian Desmond scheduled. They have Dahl and Cargo and McMahon on their bench, along with Walters. See you later. There's 96. That's fun, huh?
It's just, I mean, it's funny because I know what it feels like to be in the box and know you have no shot. I mean, what do you want a major league hitter to do? You just swung underwater on 2 sliders. Now you have a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that's moving and runs back over the middle.
Pretty lethal combination right now. 2 outs. And here's Chris Bryant. Right now, the difference in the game. The leadoff triple in the 6th. And he would score on an RBI ground out by Rizzo. That gave the Cubs the 3-2 lead they enjoy right now. Crowd at just under 36,000 tonight. Looked like a strike. 2-0. See Bryant's wearing that protection of the face on the helmet. That's fouled off. He told me before the game that it doesn't bother him at all. He's gotten used to it quickly. He said, because when I was younger, he goes, I was like the only kid who wore one of those. And I said, was it something like your mom made you wear that? He said, no, I thought it looked cool.
Kevin Seitzer used to wear one. I thought it looked cool too.
You know, he only stopped when he got to high school and then college because they, you know,
It's hard to get those.
he didn't have it.
Yeah.
But when he was younger, that's what he wore. 3-1. And he walks Bryant. That brings up Rizzo.
The Warning Track Party Room offers a field level view of the game. Prices start at $100 per person and include a food and beverage package. Call 303 Rockies for more information.
Rizzo hit a ground ball to the right side that was kind of knocked down by Voleka. It took a funny hop, and I think initially Bryant wasn't going to try to score. When Pat didn't field it cleanly, he did score, and Rizzo was thrown out at first, and that provided the Cubs with that third run.
Interested to see how Ottavino attacks Rizzo. Last pitch within the Subaru strike zone, but Rizzo really shrinks the strike zone down, at least visually, to a pitcher.
That's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The way that Anthony Rizzo reacted, he was acting as if that was a ball. And Iannetta quickly responded by turning around to Jeff Nelson and said, hey, that's more middle than off the plate.
Lefty's hitting 0.48 this year. That's a strike also. 0.48 against Adam. And, you know, there were several issues last year with Adam's command.
Look at
But
this
lefties
pitch.
have been a problem before. This is 96, bending back over the inside corner.
Rizzo gave up on the pitch before it was halfway there, already shuffling his feet.
Iannetta calls time. We'll go through the signs again.
He's gonna go fastball under his hands.
Fastball away. Whoa. That was up and away. 2-2. Line to left. Right there is Parra. We'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies trailing 3-2. Great work again by Ottavino. Game show from here at Wrigley Field. Joe Madden had Pedro Strop warm up, and now he's going out to the mound before he faces anybody. Brandon Morrow looks like he's down. He's pitched 3 of the last 4 games. He's been closing games for the Cubs in the early going of the season, and he's been doing a very nice job. But again, because he worked 3 of the last 4 days, there were 2 pitchers warming up. Brian Dunsing on the left side and Steve Cishek on the right side, and it looks like Dunsing's coming in. Rockies right now have an all-lefty bench. Leading 3-2. David Dahl is going to pinch hit for Pat Valaika. Carlos Gonzalez is on deck. Brian Dunsing making his 13th appearance. He made 1 appearance against the Rockies in the series last week. Pitched a 1/3 of an inning. He walked a guy and hit a batter. But as you can see, overall, he's been very good. He is not allowed to run in the league, hitting below 150 against him.
Well, this is the game within the game. Strop was out in the 9th inning just to get Valaika out of the game. So they put Strop, leave him out there, have David Dahl announced as a pinch hitter to face the righty. And then Joe Madden goes to Brian Dunsing, which he knew he was going to, and get the matchup of a lefty and David Dahl, who has yet to get a hit in 10 at-bats against lefties.
Time to break the ice right here. 2 strikes. Three to Chicago in the 9th.
Dunsing originally was a starter in the Minnesota Twins organization. Found his way in the bullpen. Had a lot of success for the Twins coming out of the bullpen. Was with the Cubs last year. Had a fantastic year and then re-signed a 2-year contract with the Cubs this offseason.
And another 0-2 wasted.
4-pitch mix for Dunsing, which basically shows you that he was a starter. Typically, relievers don't have more than 2 pitches. Fastball, changeup, curveball, and slider.
Dunsing's a University of Nebraska product. Still makes his home in Nebraska. Another 2-strike pitch coming up. 1-2.
Wind starting to howl even more than it had been earlier in the game, blowing out towards left center.
David goes down, 1 out. Who wants tacos? Fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special. When the Rockies do score 7 in a game, they need to break out. It's been another tough night at the office offensively. The Rockies got 2 runs in the 5th inning. They have 6 hits in the game. 3 of those hits came in the 5th inning. So here's Cargo making his return, coming off the 10-day disabled list with a hamstring strain. If you're wondering, 8 career Wrigley Field home runs for Carlos Gonzalez.
I always love it when a pinch hitter comes up and fires at the first pitch, whether he makes contact, fouls it off, or swings through it. Your timing quickly gets closer to being able to be competitive in these tough at bats.
That may have been a show me fastball in off the plate by Dunsing, and then they'll go back to spinning it. We'll see here. No, he went fastball again, but that was in also. 2-1.
Well, it's not like Carlos Gonzalez has had a rehab assignment. His last at bat came April the 18th.
I don't remember Cargo wearing that flap. That's new, isn't it?
It looks brand new to me. I guess by the end of the year, you're going to see pretty much every.
I thought it'd be in the next
baseball.
3 or 4 years. You're right. It may be even sooner than that. 2-2. And ball off the glove of Baez, and Cargo will reach. I'm sure they'll score that a hit. Baez is going to look in his glove tonight, saying, what's going on? He dropped the ball earlier. That was catchable just now. Obviously, it was hit tremendously hard.
What did they give him? They said anything. I think it's a hit. It's a base hit for Carlos Gonzalez.
So 1 out single, and Joe Madden wants the right-hander with Desmond coming up. With Cargo just coming off the disabled list with a hamstring being the tying run, Ryan McMahon's going to pinch run for Cargo with 1 out. Ian Desmond coming up, and the sinker baller side armor Steve Cishek on for the 14th time. The Cishek's really good. He's tough. He struck out 11. He gets a lot of ground balls, but he's walked 9 in 12 2/3.
He's walked 5 right-handers in 35 bats. It'd be a ground ball.
Cishek, was he on the bag? Safe off the bag. The throw by Cishek to try to cut down McMahon took Addison Russell off the bag. They're going to go look at it. Ooh, that one may get reversed. He's still on the bag.
Yep.
That'll get flipped around. It looked like the Rockies caught a monumental break.
Cubs fans reacting to the replay on the Jumbotron in left center. It shouldn't take much time. They're already taking off their headphones. It quickly calls them out at second.
The 2 outs. Blackman will come up with Desmond at first.
Well, lefties are hitting about 300 against Cishek. It's not ideal, but if you could have the perfect matchup for the Rockies right now, you'd take Charlie Blackman.
Well, you always take Charlie Blackman. 1 for 3 tonight. Outside. Blackman is 1 for 3 lifetime against Cishek. Two and 0.
And as tough as Cishek is against righties, 140 batting average against him this season. Looming on deck, Nolan is 2 for 6.
Three and 0. So what we discussed a moment ago, rearing its head, the fact that Cishek has walked a bunch of guys.
The reason why, he's got great movement. A lot of movement on the slider, a lot of movement on his fastball.
Charlie taking the whole way naturally, 3 and 1. Outfield very deep, trying to prevent Desmond from scoring on an extra base hit. Ball 4, and the Rockies will get the tying run into scoring position. The go-ahead run to first, and here comes Nolan. Jim Hickey, Joe Madden, they've run out of options in their bullpen. Brandon Morrow's down. It's Steve Cishek's game. 2 outs, 3-2 Chicago in the 9th. Whoa. That almost clipped him. Nolan an RBI double back in the 5th, also a walk tonight. And then he hit a rocket shot right at Chris Bryant in the 7th. Spiked his bat in frustration. 1 and 1. How about break this offensive drought with a ball out on a Waveland Avenue? That work for you?
Yep, wind's blowing out towards left. Good pitch right there by Cishek, really tying up Nolan. Late movement. Visually as a right-hander, very difficult. Cishek on the third base side, throws across his body, and then has a lot of late movement. Nolan trying to get the bat head out in front, but even if he did, that's a foul ball. Looks like Nolan moved off the plate a little bit, giving himself a little more space.
1-2.
It's fun watching Nolan make in-game adjustments, at-bat adjustments. Years ago, he'd stay in the same spot. After that last pitch, I watched him take a good step to give himself space.
Cishek gets him, and the Cubs prevail 3-2 on a Monday night in Chicago in the first of three between the Rockies and Cubs. Colorado leaves 2 on in the 9th, and their issues offensively continue. 2 runs on just 7 hits tonight. Once again, the final score, the Cubs win it 3-2. We'll come back, the Twitter postgame show from here at Wrigley after these messages.